Hello friends, welcome back to this video series on saluting women in history. South India, also known as Peninsular India, consists of the peninsular southern part of India. At present, it encompasses the Indian states of Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Telangana, as well as the union territories of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Lakshadweep and Puducherry. Looking back into the annals of the history, according to the historians, the history of South Indian kingdoms spreads over 5,000 years. Until the 14th century, South India was under the control of powerful kingdoms, and it was considered to be undisputed in the ancient times by the invaders until the British entered this region. But our history books often focus around the achievements and activities of the kings of South India, overlooking the accomplishments of the queens. Inscriptions from ancient times show the names of some queens who were actively involved in the administrative activities of the court. A few of the royal and elite women of South India had either opportunities or, due to inevitable circumstances, took up the reins in their hands and proved their mettle worth in the political matters of the state or in the matters of war and in the show of valor. They were also active in the religious and cultural spheres, and their names are remembered even today in this context. Other than the three kingdoms of the Sangam period, there were the Satavahanas, Pallavas, Cholas, Kakatiyas, Chalukyas, Hoysalas, later Pandyas, Vijayanagar and Nayak dynasties. Here, we discuss about the queens of these powerful South Indian kingdoms. During the Sangam age, the three most important dynasties were the Cheras, Cholas and Pandyas. The rulers of these three kingdoms were referred to as the three crowned kings of Tamilagam, called as Moovendargal. தொல்காப்பியம், அகநானூறு, குறுந்தொகை, புறநானூறு, மதுரை காஞ்சி, நற்றிணை, நெடுநல்வாடை, திருக்குறள், நாலடியார் and சிலப்பதிகாரம் are some of the pieces of Sangam literature. They have shown a clear picture about Sangam women and their status. Women played an important role, but there was no evidence that women were the ministers in king's court. The Sangam literature states that queens were with kings and supported them to rule the country wisely. Ahananuru says that Sangam women were good in education. Avayar was a famous poetess of this age. There were 58 poems written by her in the Sangam literature. Some of the educated women even counseled the kings in the battlefield. They were brave and equal to men in many other aspects. Satavahana dynasty. The most interesting detail about the Satavahanas relates to their family structure. In the Aryan society in North India, father enjoyed greater importance than mother. But the Satavahanas show traces of a matrilineal structure. It was customary for their kings to be named after their mothers. Such names as Gautamiputra and Vashishtaputra indicate that in their society, mother enjoyed a great deal of importance. Queens made important religious gifts as their own right, and some of them even acted as regents. Queen Nayanika, wife of Satakarni I, was the third Satavahana ruler and the dynasty's notable queen who controlled the Deccan region of India. She was the first monarch to have a coin made in her honor even prior to Queen Victoria. The discovery of two silver coins and the Queen Nayanika inscriptions at Nanegar and Junar are crucial to comprehending the Satavahana era. Pallava Kingdom. Among the Pallava queens, the name of Charudevi stands out as she is mentioned as the wife of the heir Buddhavarman. Inscriptions and her name record the donation of land to a Vishnu temple in the 4th century AD. There were many other Pallava queens like Rangapataka, the favorite consort of Rajasimha Pallava, who was associated with the construction of the famous Kailasanatha temple in Kanchipuram during 8th century AD. The names of Mailala Devi and Kethala Devi too, who ruled between the periods of 1053 to 1054 AD, and few other queens are also well known. Chola Kingdom. The Cholas are remembered as one of the longest ruling dynasties in the southern regions of India. Sembian Mahadevi, the widow of Gandharaditya Chola, was one of the important queens of Indian womanhood and among the greatest of the Chola queens. She had left a deep impression on contemporary art and culture and was an inspiration to succeeding generations of the lovers of art and architecture. She constructed numerous temples and had a town named after her, and during her lifetime, special celebrations marked her birthday in the Shiva temple in the town of Sembian Mahadevi. She also preserved the invaluable treasure of historical sources which are very helpful in the reconstruction of Chola history. She cared much for the welfare of the country as well. Kundavai Nachiyar or Kundavai Piratiyar was born at Tirukoilur in the house of Parantaka Chola II, also known as Sundara Chola, and her mother was Vanavan Mahadevi. Kundavai Nachiyar was famous for her beauty, intelligence, political acumen and diplomatic strategies. She was a key figure in the Chola dynasty during her time and she was considered to be different from all other women. Kundavai was also known for her patronage of art and culture and was revered as a saintly figure by later generations. She was also instrumental in establishing the Brihadishwara temple at Tanjavur, one of the largest Hindu temples in South India. As mentioned in her inscriptions, she enjoyed high status in the Chola kingdom and her name is found in places like temples, tanks, cherries, mutts and others. Kakatiya dynasty. Andhra Desa was politically dynamic during the Kakatiya rule. The most influential female monarch of the Kakatiya dynasty in the Deccan Plateau was Rani Rudrama Devi. She jointly began her rule with her father Ganapati Deva as his co-regent, but assumed full sovereignty in 1263 AD. Unlike her Kakatiya predecessors, she chose to recruit as warriors many people who were not aristocratic, granting them rights over the land tax revenue in return for their support. This was a significant change and one that was followed by her successor and also by the later Vijayanagar Empire. Her demise finally came in the hands of the Kayastha chieftain Ambadeva in 1289 after a valiant battle between the two. Ganapamba was the younger sister of Queen Rudrama of Warangal. Though not as famous as her sister, she deserves to be remembered as one of the few Andhra women who actually wielded the scepter and governed a kingdom in her own right. Ganapamba was a wise and enlightened ruler, and under her motherly care, the people of 6005s enjoyed peace and order. Chalukya dynasty. The Chalukya queens of Badami, in what is now the state of Karnataka, produced royal documents, oversaw some of the empire's divisions, and made charitable contributions. The senior queen or Patta Mahishi of Chandraditya Prithivallabha Maharaja. She was a gifted Sanskrit poetess and has been compared by some academics to Vijayanka, a significant historical literary figure. She composed poems on a variety of subjects including love, the natural world, seasonal changes, sea and female beauty. Another Chalukyan queen who deserves mention is Lokamahadevi, the queen of Vikramaditya II, who assisted her husband in the building of the Shiva temple at Pattadakal in the 8th century AD in order to commemorate his victory over the Pallavas. She also conferred on the musicians and dancers a number of privileges. One of these, by name Achala, seems to have founded a new school of dancing. Hoysala dynasty. In South India, art, architecture and religion all advanced during the Hoysala period, which lasted from 10th to 14th century AD. Kanti Khanti, the great Kannada poetess so far known, adorned the court of the famous Hoysala king Ballala I, who was a great patron of learning. Shantala Devi, principal consort of king, is the most significant queen from this period. She was a lovely woman of remarkable intelligence and strong will. She was an expert in music, dancing and other fine arts. Although a general of the Hoysala king Narasimha III constructed the well-known Chennakeshava temple, the queen herself ordered the construction of the surrounding buildings. A novel titled Natyarani Shantala by K.V. Iyer immortalized her legends. Later Pandya kingdom. The rule of the later Pandyas stretched to the 14th century in the southernmost regions of the Tamil country. According to Hindu legends, Malayadwaja Pandya and his queen Kanchanmala had one daughter, Tattathagai, who was later known as Meenakshi. She succeeded her father's throne and finally took her true form of Meenakshi. This reflected the matrilineal tradition in South India and the regional belief that when ultimate powers rest with the women, gods listen to their spouse and that the fate of the kingdoms rest with the women. The reverence for Queen Meenakshi is a part of the Hindu goddess tradition, and it is said that her eyes are fabled to bring life to the unborn. Vijayanagar kingdom. During the 16th century, when South India was under the Vijayanagar rulers, there are references found of women giving away grants to the temples. The two queens of Krishnadevaraya, who were Tirumala Devi and Chinna Devi, accompanied him to the temple of Lord Venkateshwara at Tirumala, present-day Tirupati, and presented many expensive gifts to the presiding deity. During this rule, there were a few women who carved out a name for them in the polity and literature, such as Ganga Devi and Oduva Tirumalamba. Ganga Devi was popular because she was the queen of Kumara Kampana, who conquered the Sultan of Madura in 1371. She was a highly educated and talented woman and accompanied her husband during his expeditions. In the court of the king Achyutaraya, the successor of Krishnadevaraya, was Oduva Tirumalamba, a Sanskrit scholar and poetess who authored Varadambika Parinayam, which was the story of the marriage of King Achyutadevaraya in Sanskrit. She was a genius, was an excellent musician and grammarian. She was also a linguist and could write in many scripts. In addition to all these excellent qualities, she must have possessed great beauty, for King Achyutaraya became so enamored of her that he elevated her to the position of queen. Nayak dynasty. The Nayak queens of Tanjore showed interest in arts and literature. Some of them have made distinct contribution to Sanskrit and Telugu literature. Two consorts of Raghunatha Nayak were Maduravani and Ramabhadrambha. As women, they showed their excellent talents in arts and literature, even to the admiration of their male counterparts. Rangajamma, the consort of Vijayaraghava Nayak, was also a versatile genius. Rani Mangamma was a popular queen of the Nayak kingdom of Madurai, and there is no doubt that her place in history as a capable, enlightened and beneficent ruler is unchangeable. Coming to the conclusion, it can be stated that the untold story of formidable women in the South Indian history pages shows that they broke away from social confines, ruled kingdoms and built tall structures. The medieval period, though carried along with it the feudal characters and imperialistic motives of the rulers of the ancient period, the influence of the alien culture and the development of composite culture had a bearing on the role, contribution and the changing attitudes of women during the period. Though in this changing scenario, the women could get more space, but they were slated for spicy roles in society, and their visible power came at the cost of the invisibility of the unempowered women around them. These South Indian queens are mostly known for their outstanding leadership, bravery and their beauty, and some of them were famous not only in India but in the whole world. With all these facts highlighted, the queens of South India are the women to be given a big salute in history. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all again in the next video with another important topic.